Well, welcome everybody to Holistic House Online. We're all very excited today because this is our first live broadcast, our first live Google Hangout. And this Hangout is all about what we're all about and what we want to achieve with Google Hangouts. And just to give you a little taster of what they're like. So a Google Hangout for Holistic Housing is an opportunity for practitioners and therapists to really shout about what they do, but for all the audience to really get to know them, to actually see them in the flesh, so to speak, hear their voices, see their mannerisms. So really make that connection far more than perhaps you can do if you're on a website or Facebook or just Twitter. So today we have two lovely practitioners with us. We have Claire Cutler-Casey from BizBits, and we have Jane Ty, and they're going to tell you a little bit about what they do as well. But remember, at the end of this broadcast, it won't be a very long one today. Do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also like our Google Plus page, and that way you won't miss the next exciting Holistic House Online. So, ladies, if I can just start with Claire. Claire, would you be able to just introduce yourself for us, please, and maybe just tell us a little bit about what you do?
Thanks, Andrea. I am a business coach, and I work only with people who are in the holistic and person-centred industries. The reason that I do that, yes, I could business coach anyone, and for the last 10 years I have. I've business coached over 10,000 people in the UK and helped them to start and grow their businesses. But I'm passionate about the holistic industry. I'm a kinesiology practitioner myself. And the thing that I found through working in the holistic world is that the holistic industry is very different to any other industry. Because when you're working with your clients, you have to be there with your clients. It's not like being a dog walker or a plumber, where you can be screwing in a nut or walking a dog and thinking, oh, I must do some social media when I get home, or oh, I must do some accounting when I get home. You have to be there at the time with the client for the duration of the session, which means that the time that you've got left at the end of the day, when actually you're probably a little bit tired and you've got lots of business things to do, means that you need to be much more efficient and much more focused on the things that you're going to do to build your practice. Coupled with the fact that holistic people are very different in their ethics and the way that they want to run their businesses, I've moulded all of those things together to create a world where holistic practitioners can feel much better about the business side of things, and I call this balancing your business body. So it's about understanding that as much as you've got an etheric body and a spiritual body and a mind body and a health body, you've also got a business body. And if you're not giving it much support, it's probably flagging a little bit, and that's probably why business is flagging just a little bit. So it's about helping you with all of those business things. And what I've done as well to try and help people to get involved is if people are a gold member of the Holistic Health Zone, which actually doesn't cost a lot of money at all, then they can get 10% off of everything that they do with me. So they might decide to come on one of my one-day seminars, they might decide to have some one-to-one coaching, or they might decide to treat themselves and come away for a retreat to learn all about the business aspects that are bothering them. But either way, it's all with other holistic practitioners and people who are in the same world as them, so that you feel a little bit easier about asking the questions that you need to ask and learning the things that you need to learn.
That's lovely, Claire. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And Jane, would you like to just say a little bit about what you do?
Yes. Thanks, Andrea. I'm a specialist mindset mentor, and what I do is I really help other people find their path and then give them the courage, the confidence and the skills to take that path and really flourish. So it's about, you know, when you have that feeling that there must be something more to life than this, and you want to live a big purpose, but you feel stuck, you feel like you're at a crossroads, you're just flailing around not really knowing what to do or which way to turn. Or it might be that you know what way to go, but there's something that's holding you back and you really don't have the confidence or the skills to follow your path. And I just have this real passion and an intuitive ability for bringing people back on track, back onto the path, giving them that clarity that they need. And then it's about helping them take control of their life and their true purpose by learning mastery of your own mind and your emotions. So it's really all about mindset, but the clarity piece has to come first. And a lot of people, when they think about mindset, they think it's all about neuro-linguistic programming, CBT, and those sort of things. But then you need to know my kind of mindset, because mine embraces spirituality, intuition, courage, confidence, and to me it's all about living from the soul, but not in an airy-fairy way, in a real practical way with practical skills that enable you to know yourself, know your purpose, master your mind and emotions so that you can take control of your life, live that purpose and thrive. I used to be a high-flying lawyer, and I really felt trapped in that career, and I knew that there was something different for me. I mean, this is some years ago now, and at that time there weren't people doing the sort of work that I do, and I really had to find it all out myself. I had to find out how to find my path, and then how to master my own mindset to really know and enable me to take that path. So all that experience has really given me the tools to help other people find their path and the skills to go ahead and really flourish with it. So, and there's, you know, there's all the practical businessy side as well that can come into that. But yeah,
that's great. Thank you, Jay. Well, in this part of our hangout, what we would normally do is we'd throw it open to any questions that anybody might have. So I was just wondering whether either of you ladies have any questions you'd like to ask each other.
I have a question I'd like to ask you, Andrea, if that's okay.
Oh,
I just wondered if you could tell us a little bit about why you set up the Holistic Health Zone.
About why I set it up? Well, that's a really interesting question. I think as being a therapist, I kind of found it hard to kind of get out there and make all those connections and really find a platform from which I could sort of say about what I was doing. And when I started, I didn't know anything about Facebook or Twitter, about websites, and I learned it all very much from scratch. And coupled with the fact that I wanted to develop my practice as well, and I didn't really know who to go to. You know, I Google, you know, reflexology, you know, because I might want to train in that perhaps, and got thrown with all these different websites, and I didn't know which one to choose. And I was very lucky in that I managed to find a very excellent trainer. What I found that I wanted to do when I brought Holistic Health Zone into being is to provide that real hub, that real kind of where you could go online and you could find out about holistic health. You could connect with other people, because I found, as being a therapist, I found it quite isolating at times. And sometimes, you know, when it's, you know, 6:30 or, you know, a strange time, there's no group going on, you just want to connect with somebody and say, I've had a bad day, or I'm not sure about this. And that's another reason for developing Holistic Health Zone, is to provide that community, that real space where anybody can come to and they can connect with other people, they can find out about holistic health. There are lots of practitioners there shouting about what they're doing. There are trainers on there saying about their courses as well. So our kind of vision for the future is really to have I don't know about such and such. Oh, go onto Holistic Health Zone. I'm sure there'll be somebody on there who can help you. And I think if that happened, I would be a very happy person indeed. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Good. Do we have any other questions? I think, Claire, one of the things that I wanted to maybe clarify with you, whereabouts are you based?
Well, I'm one of those sort of flighty people, really. I'm based in York, that's where I live. But what I do is I work all around the UK, so I'm very lucky in that I travel around to all the lovely parts of the UK and I work with people where they are. I also work with people on Hangouts and on Skype and on the phone, because the one thing that I'm very aware of for people in the holistic industry is that time is really, really precious. And even for people who work in York, sometimes I coach them over the phone or using Skype, because travel and parking and all of that moving around just eats away into the very precious time that they have left in their day. So it's about making sure that people get the best value for the time that they're using. So whilst I'm based in York, it doesn't actually necessarily mean that you'll always find me in York.
Yeah, and how about you, Jane? Are you similar, or what? How do you work generally?
Kind of similar. I'm also based in York, but I do most of my work is done. Some of it's done one-to-one, but most of it is done through the telephone or through Skype. I work with people all over the world. I work with people in America, and it's you know, I can work with anybody anywhere. One component of what I do, and I do like to meet with people for an intensive day as part of a program where that would be a one-to-one, and usually they'll travel to me and we have a really lovely venue, because I find that when people actually take, I understand what Claire says, time is really precious, but there's also real value in taking a step away from your business, away from your daily life, whatever it is, and taking that time out where you can just put aside everything else, all the worries, all the concerns, and really just go in deep and focus on yourself. And I find those intensive days, people just have real aha moments, and they leaps and bounds, they expand by leaps and bounds on those days, because we're able to just take that time in a completely different environment, and really go deep and do some really deep transformational work. So yeah, that's how I work.
Yeah, that's great. And do either of you have any questions for each other before we wrap up?
There's nothing that I can think of immediately. Sorry, no.
No.
No, that's great.
Well,
as I said, this is just really a taster as to what a hangout would be like. And thank you both ladies today for agreeing to take part. I hope those that see this hangout enjoy it and maybe have got to know you a little better. And I know that you've both agreed to come back and do a more fuller hangout with us so we can find out more about both of you later on in the month. So thank you both for coming. And again, if I can just remind everybody to either subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on our Google Plus page so that you don't miss our next fantastic Holistic House Zone live session. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
thanks, Andrea. Thanks.